Anyone can make a claim. But just like a dollar bill needs its watermarks to prove it's real, or a scientific theory needs evidence to prove it holds water, a legitimate messenger of God comes with proof of authenticity. Authenticity is really the only standard for believability. And authenticity is proven through the fulfillment of prophecy, the divine calling card of name, date, address, and mission. Dr. Leland Jensen, the promised establisher of the Bahá'í Faith, fulfills all four. Let's begin with the first, his name. In Zechariah chapter 3, the prophet speaks of a high priest referred to as Joshua, which is a form of the Hebrew name Yeshua, the name of Jesus. This Joshua Yeshua has iniquity upon him, and in verse 4 it says that this iniquity is removed as he's chosen to carry out a sacred task. In verse 9 God says, I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. The Hebrew for that land is haaretz, literally the land. So the iniquity of Joshua and the iniquity of the land are one and the same. This was Dr. Jensen's given name, Leland. While teaching the faith on the French islands, he and Opal would hear the locals say with a smile, "Ah, you're the land," given that the French article "les" means the. But more than that, the name Leland actually means an open, uncultivated piece of land ready for new growth. In other words, Leland is that land. The iniquity of Joshua and the iniquity of that land, Leland, is the filthy garment or dirty jacket charge, and it says that God removes that iniquity. Isaiah 33 expands the vision. Thine eyes shall see the king in his beauty, they shall behold the land that is very far off. The king in his beauty is a reference to Baha'u'llah, whose given name, Hussein Ali, translates to beautiful noble one. And the land that is very far off, both in time and in geography, it's Leland Jensen in 20th century Montana. Next is the date. Daniel chapter 12 speaks of a time of fulfillment. Blessed is he who waits and comes to the 1,335 days. Adding 1,335 solar years to the date of Muhammad's victory in 628 AD brings us to 1963, the very year Leland Jensen opposed Rex King at the Rizwan elections, just as the Hands were proclaiming their false, headless universal house of justice. This matches the pattern of Daniel. The Bab's date was foretold from the start of the Islamic calendar to the start of the Baha'i calendar. Baha'u'llah's date was foretold from the proclamation of Muhammad to Baha'u'llah's own proclamation. And the establisher's date is taken from Muhammad's victory in 628 to Baha'u'llah's victory in 1963 with the start of Leland's mission. Calendar to calendar, proclamation to proclamation, victory to victory. Abdu'l-Baha confirmed it. These 1,335 days must be reckoned as solar and not lunar years, for according to this calculation, a century will have elapsed from the dawn of the Sun of Truth. Then will the teachings of God be firmly established upon the land. There it is. Exactly 1 century after the dawn of the Sun of Truth, the proclamation of Baha'u'llah, is April 1963, the start of Dr. Jensen's mission. Next, the address. Zechariah 3 speaks of the stone with 7 eyes. The old Montana State Prison in Deer Lodge is a stone fortress with 7 watchtowers. The whole prison is a stone with 7 eyes. And then there's Zechariah 6. Behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains of brass. In Hebrew, brass, bronze, and copper are the same word. And the old Montana State Prison is nestled between 2 of the largest copper deposits in the world, Butte to the south, Lincoln to the north. And all of this happened where half of the waters flow to the eastern sea and half to the western sea, as described in Zechariah 14:8. That's the definition of the continental divide, which runs adjacent to the Deer Lodge Valley, where the old prison is located. Finally, the mission. According to Zechariah 3, the mission of Joshua, or Jesus the high priest, is to restore the 2 branches of the covenant: the rod of wood, the Davidic line of guardianship, and the rod of iron, the body of the universal house of justice. Doc did both. He was the only one who recognized Joseph Pepe Remy, Mason's adopted son, as the legitimate guardian, while others clung to rival claimants or abandoned the institution altogether. Doc stood firm on the provisions of the covenant. And through continued epistles and appeals, he convinced Pepe to fulfill his responsibility to appoint his successor to the guardianship before he passed. Doc raised up a body of believers educated in the faith, trained in the covenant, and at one point, a third of the entire Montana State Prison called themselves Baha'is. He also restored the 4-stage plan for the Universal House of Justice laid out by Shoghi Effendi. He had reestablished the line of David. He had reestablished the plan for the House of Justice. And according to Revelation 2, verse 26, his mission is promised victory. To the one who conquers, I will give authority over the nations. As the world writhes in travail, receive the education of Leland, the land, the return of Jesus, the high priest. Visit schooloftheland.com.